friends. Ready for some chocolate? It's Thursday, so let's get a little bit of a backstory about a chocolate maker. This week, I'm going to talk about Diego's chocolate. And you're probably thinking, whoa, that doesn't look like a chocolate bar. And you're right, it doesn't. It's something completely different and unique from Guatemala. So I have a few flavors, all different lovely rainbow wrappers that they're in. But let's tell you a little bit about Diego's chocolate and give you a little bit of the background. So Diego's chocolate has been going since the 1990s. So he's been doing chocolate for longer than most craft chocolate makers have. And so he's been doing it since the 90s. It's run by Diego Efrain Hernandez. And I apologize, I'm pronouncing every Spanish word wrong. I try, but I always get it wrong. So Diego is in Guatemala, and he is a farmer turned chocolate maker. And like I said, he's been doing this in Guatemala since the 1990s. Let's see. So the area of Guatemala that he does it in is called San Pedro La Laguna, which is not where the cacao grows, but that's where he is. Guatemala is known as the land of eternal spring, but where he is, it's not quite warm enough, tropical enough to grow cacao. So that's where they make the chocolate. So all the families in San Pedro make chocolate for special occasions, but it's usually drinking chocolate. So that's the traditional way that they eat chocolate. But Diego got this idea in his head that he wanted to make chocolate for eating. And he and his family are descendants of the Maya. I'm going to say this word wrong, Tutujil people. And they have been making, chocolate for thousands of years. And so when he got this idea to make chocolate for eating instead of drinking, he based it on the recipes that he had learned from his grandmother for drinking chocolate. And so farmer turned chocolate maker, he has a really strong commitment to Guatemala and the people of Guatemala. And he tries to provide meaningful jobs for the community. He has a commitment to this. So even when he can do things by machine, he often chooses to do them by hand so he can provide a job to someone. So the cacao that they use comes from the Pacific coast and Alto Verapaz, which is in the northeast part of Guatemala. Lots of other ingredients come from that area as well. And like I said, since he was a farmer, he has a relationship. He has a long-standing relationship with many of the farmers that he sources his cacao from. He gets it from lots of small farmers. So he's doing direct trade. He pays them above fair trade prices. And let's see what else. So the farmers that he's working with are all Mayan descendants as well. So, or mostly or almost all in the area, they say that there's at least over 20 different Mayan languages still widely spoken in the area. They are organic, but they're not certified because when you have a bunch of different smallholder farms, it's difficult to get the certification. It's also very costly. So it is organic. It's done with all Guatemalan ingredients. It is a native business. Like I said, he direct trades with the small scale farmers. All of these are made by hand. They are, so he does everything by hand in small batches. So small batches, the beans are roasted in small batches over the fire. The hens are winnowed and shelled. The beans are winnowed and shelled by hand. They're lightly fermented. He uses, so for sweetener, he doesn't have any additives or preservatives. So for sweetener, he uses panela, which is, they crush the sugarcane stalk and squeeze the juices out and then mold them So it's sugarcane juice that's been poured into molds and it gets hard. I'll put a picture of it up here. It has a different flavor than just regular cane sugar. So it's sometimes other names you might have heard it called is muscovado, rapadou, jaggery, raspadura. They're all kind of the same thing. So it lends itself a little bit of a different flavor to the chocolate. They also use orange juice and other parts of the orange for a sweetener. Typically Mayan chocolate isn't tempered, so neither is their chocolate. So that's why it looks a little bit different. Because it's not tempered and they molded it different, so it doesn't melt. I could hold this in my hand forever and it wouldn't melt. But that also means that it's more perishable. So if you were to order these from Diego's Chocolate, you have to eat them like within a month, or you just need to stick them in the freezer and they'll last longer. They ferment, so because they do a light ferment on the beans as well, it takes them longer to dry. So it can take them up to 3 months to dry. So I just ordered from Diego's, and I have a little collection. So I'll show you what I have. This is their Puro. It's the 80%. Then I have the milk, Leche chocolate. This is a new one that you can get in the States now. Coconut, almond. And you notice how they're all got these lovely rainbow colors. They're all wrapped by hand. This one is basil. I'm excited to try this one. And cardamom. Okay, so I've got this rainbow of chocolate to try. I'm excited to try it. And I'm also wearing their t-shirt. It says, Hecho con amor, which means made with love. So he takes pride in, Diego's taking pride in what he's doing with his chocolate and for his community. So let's flip the camera around and we'll open a couple of these chocolates. Okay, so if you were to go to Guatemala, you'd see that they have this huge range. I think they have at least 20 different flavors. If you look at pictures online, they've got this rainbow if you were in Guatemala. You can buy a little bit fewer flavors in the United States, and I'll tell you how to get them in the United States at the end of the video. So today I think I'm going to open this one, the Leche, 65%, and these are all hand colored, all hand wrapped, and the other one I'm going to open is the Puro. So this is 80% cacao, nice and strong. And then again, they've got the coconut, the almond, the basil, and the cardamom. So I just wanted to show you, let's see. Okay, so in their bars, I'll show you on the Puro because that's the one we're going to open. You'll see that, let's see if we can get the camera to focus. They have cacao, unsweetened cane sugar, that's the panela, and orange juice. So both of those two ingredients act as a sweetener and a flavor additive. And then in this one too, in the milk, they have cacao, cane sugar, orange juice, and milk. So simple ingredients. They have no preservatives or additives, and they use a device. You may have heard it called a metate. That's what they call it in Mexico. In Guatemala, they call it a piedra de molar. And that's what they use to make the chocolate. It's a grinder that they normally use to grind corn into masa, so like a corn mass. Well, they ground this into a cacao liqueur they call la crema de cacao, and they use that for drinks and desserts normally. Commonly, the drinks are mixed with corn and other ingredients. So because of how they make it and there's no tempering, the rolls are going to have different hardness due to the inclusion. So this milk is going to be a little bit softer than the Puro. So let's open let's see, let's open the Puro first. And I know there's a trick to this, but I can't remember what it is. So I'm just going to use my knife to cut it open. How cool is that? So I don't have to check and see if they've made a good temper, because really, they aren't tempering. So there's not that for me to check out to see if they were doing a good job at. So here's what it looks like. This is so fun and different. Okay, I'm gonna smell the aroma and then I'll taste it and we'll come back and see what we talk about. So this one is the Puro that I'm tasting first. Okay, so for this one, when I smell it, nice, rich, fire roasted cacao flavor. And you can see it's not crumbly. It's just got a unique, different texture. It's not unpleasant mouthfeel. It's got a nice mouthfeel. I get notes of deep roasted cacao, a little bit maybe of coffee. I wonder if they're including the pith in here somehow, because I feel like I can taste a little bit of pith from the orange, but I'm not sure about that. So how fun, right? This is so cool. So that's the Puro, and it's nice. It's different than a chocolate, but it's not different in a bad way. It's different good. It's just a unique way to try chocolate. So the next one I'm going to try is the milk, or the leche. So let's look at here, made in Guatemala. Let's see what else. Oh, there it is. Keep frozen. So because these have no preservatives or additives, especially when it has something like milk, you have to eat it kind of fresh or stick it in your freezer. And when I cut this, I can totally, this one is so much softer than the Puro. Yeah, it's quite a bit softer, which is fine. I don't know, that doesn't mean anything other than it has milk in it. Same with dark chocolate and milk chocolate. Milk chocolate is often softer than dark chocolate. So I'm going to cut a piece off here and we will give it a try. Give it a smell and give it a try. Okay, so when I try the milk, it's much, I don't know how to show you, I can't snap it. It doesn't have a snap because it hasn't been tempered. I don't know how to show you that the milk is softer than the Puro. But when I smell it, I get nice strong notes of roasted cacao, a little bit of a coffee note in there, a little bit of caramel, and it's got a great mouthfeel. It's almost like eating toffee, chocolate toffee, but not nearly as sweet. Like a dark chocolate toffee. It's really good. I just want to sit here and munch on this all day. So good. So that's the milk. And then I'm tempted to open more, you guys, because I just want to keep trying them. But this milk is so good that it's going to disappear quickly. So that's the 2 Diego chocolate that I tried today. So much fun, so different. If you're in your tasting chocolate adventure and you want to try something new and different, you're tired of the same old 70%, these are so much fun and tasty to have in your chocolate tasting. So let's flip the camera around and we'll finish up. Okay, so if you want to get Diego's chocolate, it's an interesting little story about how it came to be sold in the United States. So Nico Silverman is the U.S. distributor of Diego's chocolate. Now, Nico met Diego in 2012. He was on a personal trip and at the time he was working for Etsy. And while he was down there, he interviewed a bunch of artisans about their products and their sales, and that's how he met Diego. So Diego talked about how they had slow growth in the past decade. So he took all these products and interviews back to Etsy, and they talked about a project to help developing nations, developing countries. The project didn't get off the ground, but Nico and Diego stayed in touch and they started working together. One of, like I said before, Diego's goals is to get, I've got this piece of milk in my hand, I want to eat it. One of Diego's goals is to make as many meaningful jobs for his community as he can. So you can guess that in the last year that Guatemala has had a hard time. Not only have they been hit by at least one hurricane, but they're also dealing, like the rest of the world, with COVID. So right now, when you buy anything from Diego's Chocolate in the United States, 100% of the proceeds are being directed back to 100% of the profits are going back to Guatemala and the local communities in the area where Diego lives. So they are being really hard hit at this time. And unlike Diego, who had kind of a sustainable business going at the time, many of the people living in Guatemala, with COVID removing tourism and a lot of other industries and supply chains being affected, that these other people did not have a sustainable lifestyle. And so that's why all of the profits that Nico gets right now are going 100% back to Guatemala to help buy them food, to get them food aid, to get them things like chickens, and to help them just like the rest of us. Well, not like the rest of us, but everyone's just trying to survive the best they can at this very weird time in the world. So if you want to try some of this cool chocolate, and I suggest you do because it is so fun. I love using this chocolate in my tastings because it just throws people off and just throws them for a loop. It's not the fancy European chocolate that everybody thinks they should like. It's amazing Mayan traditional Guatemalan chocolate that surprises them how flavorful and fun and exciting it is. So if you want to find this, they have a site on Etsy that you can order through if you're in the United States. I don't know if Nico is shipping to other places in the world, but he will talk to you about it on Etsy. So get a hold of him and support this maker at origin during this time and all the time, because they're making fantastic chocolate and they deserve to be supported. So that's this week's story behind the chocolate. If you liked this video or learned something, I hope you'll click like. And if you want to learn something about chocolate every week or about a chocolate maker, make sure to subscribe so that you get notified when I make a new video. And I hope you will join me next week. I'll see you next week, guys.